gonna lie, don't tell the feminists, but I would rather stay home and cook and clean. When I tell you I love to cook and clean, just don't tell the feminists. I love to do it, and I love to do it for a man. I do. However, not outside of marriage. Absolutely not. That sounds like hell. But just to see the look on a man's face when you cook him a meal that is so good, you could just tell he's proud. There's just something, I don't know, there's something within me as a woman. Maybe it's almost turning 25 that got me thinking, like, this cooking and cleaning thing isn't bad. Like, I just don't understand why women want it to work. Man that provides for you, you don't have to worry about anything, no bills. I will cook and clean all day. Like, what is the complaint? I'm making some fire food tonight. I'm going to serve it, and I'm just enjoying it. Yes, I'm crying over some onions, but is this what we fought for as women? I'd rather cry over some onions than cry about a...
Have you ever rejected a man specifically to test his determination to winning you over?
Of course. I love the chase. I love the chase.
No.
Yes.
You have?
Yeah.
Say why, so they know.
Because it's fun. It's a game.
That's up.
Have you ever rejected a man specifically to test his determination to winning you over?
Yes. 100%.
So then how does no always mean no?
It doesn't. No can mean yeah.
What? Well, that's confusing.
No can mean yeah, and yeah can mean no. Just depends on how you say it.
The anti-male feminist women of today have incredibly high body counts, and they're proud of it. They're proud of the fact that they don't have any responsibilities towards their own bodies and towards their own well-being. They constantly try to oppress and subjugate men and feel they've accomplished something when they do. They deliberately reject and ignore men so that they can get an ego massage of how they are superior to men. Today's version of feminism empowers women to not just want equality, but to gain superiority over men. Feminists today think about 1% of men who wronged women in the past and use that to treat every man or the other 99% in the same way, basing their whole lives and the feminist ideology on it, which is a completely illogical thing to do.
Yeah, no, he's definitely hooking up with other people, but it's just like, I'm one of them, you know? Like, that's like kind of huge. Like, I am one of the chosen ones. Like, I am one of these select few, probably like half a dozen other women that he hooks up with. And like, that's like low-key huge, you know? It's just like, he's like just keeping me around, you know? Like, I'm like in his back pocket type of thing. Like, second option might be first. It's like, I made the team, you know? Like, I'm a part of the starting lineup. Like, I was on the cast list. Like, I made it, you know? Sometimes I'm an understudy, sometimes I'm a main character, sometimes I'm just the ensemble, you know? Like, it depends, but it's just like making the entire roster is probably the hugest thing because he picked it.
And this is why modern women today have incredibly high body counts, because they've equated that with being independent and free, and with getting back at those 1% of men who actually did oppress women. Have you ever had a feeling that there's something wrong with feminism as it is today? I mean, it started out as a noble movement for women's rights and inclusion in society. But now that I think about it, it's become more of a movement that perpetuates an anti-male narrative, or rather, a narrative that pushes for women to oppress men and take their places in society. It completely ignores the true value of women as feminine beings who have the biological superpowers of being able to give birth to human beings, of being able to care for children and men, and nurture families. These are qualities men don't have. These are qualities that make women stand apart. However, the feminism of today perpetuates a rebellious faction of women who only want to live a life based on how low-quality men used to live their lives sleeping around with women and not embracing the responsibilities of being men. Modern feminism is teaching women to be second-class males instead of first-class women.
The next minute is going to be the best part of my day. They're doing construction by my house, so I'm driving past the same crew every day and I wave. They're getting used to my car and they're waving back. It's like I have friends.
Either I'm ugly, which is why guys don't talk to me, or I'm like too attractive that they're intimidated, which is why they don't talk to me. And I don't think I'm ugly, so
This is why I feel that modern feminism has lied to women in general. Modern feminism has robbed women of their meaning and purpose, and given them a new purpose that is only making women more and more miserable. You only have to go and see the women around your society or online today to know what I mean. Women are miserable because of feminism. They think they're part of some positive movement that liberates them of their worries, when in fact, it only steals their value from them. I was recently reading a study that said women who enter the marriage as virgins, or with one sex, which is now a rarity, are the least likely to divorce. Women with 10 or more partners are the most likely to divorce, but this only became true in recent years, the study said. This only goes to show that the more women sleep around, the more they're likely to lose any sense of loyalty and future stability when it comes to relationships. On top of that, no man truly wants to be with a woman who has a high body count.
I want to be a corporate girly. I don't want to climb the ladder. I don't want to be a boss babe. I don't want to do any of that. I don't want to be the breadwinner. I do not want to do that. You know what I want to do? I want to be home. I want to be cooking in the kitchen. I want to be cleaning. I want to be shopping. I want to be making brownies. I want to be cooking dinner, making homemade meals every night, almost every night.
When modern women realize the true value of their feminine nature, not only does it benefit their own families, it benefits society, country, and humanity as a whole. Listen, I'm all for the right of women to vote, work, earn, and pursue their careers. I'm all for women being able to live independent lives. But I'm not for a society where women are taught to hate men, or that their life's purpose is to ignore their own responsibility to society being feminine and being happily invested in raising their families. I'm not at all for women who feel as though they need to sleep around with 30-plus men in their 20s just so they can get back at men, or the 1% of men who they heard did that to women in the past. There are men who still act irresponsibly or do not do justice to their gender, but that doesn't mean women have to do that too.
Please don't catcall me unless you're attractive. Unless you're a 7, 8, 9, or 10. If you're a 10, you're probably not catcalling. But don't do it. I don't want none of that. I don't want none of that.
What started off as a quest for equality is now a quest for superiority. Modern feminist women say they want equality, but they only want it on their terms, which includes domination over men. Women want selective equality. They don't want true equality. They want the same salary that a man has for a particular position without having to work for it as much as that man. Women want a place in the boardroom, but they don't want to sit past 6 p.m. because they've got to go to their spa appointment. Women only reveal their anti-male woke nature when they do they things because it shows they just want to ride the wave of success without having to actually work for it. They compare themselves with high-quality men who literally sacrifice their entire lives and live in incredibly competitive environments just so they can get to those positions.
6 has been separated for a little over a year, 32. Being in your 20s is the trenches. There is nothing better than being in your 30s, still being hot, maybe having a little bit of your own money, figuring out what you want to do with your life, everything, and having tried that married fantasy and realizing that it's maybe not all it's cracked up to be, and then you've got your whole life still ahead of you. So for all of those people who are stressed or feeling stressed about that, about being divorced, like it's good. Congratulations.
Right. This all sounds like an attempt to quell the cognitive unease of failing at marriage and now being single.
When we have famous supermodels congratulate women on being divorced, then we really know that shit runs deep and that there's no end to the delusions of modern women. Modern feminine women are also promoting a dangerous narrative, which is that they believe they can function in societies without any men in those societies. This is a dangerous narrative because it will misinform young women about how they can do that without ever having to work for it. Will these women work in the sewers? Will they work in the mining industry? Will they literally work in deplorable conditions that men work in just so they can feed their wives and children? Or is just the CEO that modern women want to emulate and look at? Why the hypocrisy? Why selective equality? Truth be told, this isn't equality. It's gender politics for domination while using whole generations of innocent women as pawns. I've seen countless videos online where women are crying because they've slept with so many men. They just don't know what to do with their lives. I've said this many times before, and I'll say this again and again. Men were meant to provide and protect and spread their seed in order to build and populate. Women were meant to care and nurture, provide warmth, and raise children with their men. Both have their own qualities and reasons. It's only the woke female narrative that has made women believe that they're lesser beings if they're not doing everything a man can do. You don't see men crying about how they don't have the ability to give birth. You don't see men saying they would like to raise children while women bring in the money and resources and the protection. That's it for today. Thanks for watching Man Reacts. Show us your love and support by liking this video, sharing it with your friends, and subscribing to the channel. Support us and help us spread support for men around the world. Do comment and share your thoughts. We're always up for a healthy debate and discussion.